Okay, so these are my variables: consumption, income, and relative price. Consumption is dependent variable, and income and relative price are my independent variables. So I would check normality for consumption first. To check normality of consumption, I would go to variable and then click on normality test. These are different tests that tells us about the normality of the data. The basic concept is, if the p-value is less than 0.05 or 5%, it would mean that the data is not normally distributed. If the p-value is more than 0.05 or 5%, it would mean that data is normally distributed. Okay, so these are the three tests. However, we are more concerned with Jacob-Barra test. Here the p-value is 0.51, which means it is more than 0.05, so it is normally distributed. You can check its graph as well by going to variable and then click on frequency distribution, then click on test against normal distribution. Okay, so this is the plot which tells us about the normality. Here you can see that fluctuations are not that much, so it's basically normally distributed. Alright, so we check the dependent variable. Here we also get the p-value. Now we check our independent variable, which is income. We click on variable and then go to frequency distribution, normal distribution. Okay, here is the same story. Our p-value is 0.577, which is more than 0.05. Okay, so according to this, our data is normally distributed. Now we look at the graph. The graph also has some small fluctuations, so it's normally distributed and we don't need to do anything about it. Alright, now we come to our third variable, which is relative price. I click on relative price, then go to variable, and then click on frequency distribution, test against normal distribution. Okay. Now, if we look at the p-value, it is 0.05, which is equal to 0.05 or 5%. So according to this, the data is not normal. And then if we look at the graph has some huge fluctuations here. Alright, huge fluctuations. Now we have a problem of normality in one of our variables. So to convert relative price into a normal distribution, we normally take a log of it. So to take a log of it, I click on relative price and then click on add and click on log of selected variable. Alright, so this is the variable. We took a log of the same variable. Now, if we check the normality of this variable, which is modified form of relative price. So we click on variable and then go to frequency distribution. Okay, if we look at the p-value, it's more than 0.05, that is 0.09. Alright, and see the graph is also normal because there are not huge fluctuations. Alright, so in this video we basically learned about two things. One, how to check normality through Gretl software, and lastly, how to convert a variable into normal distribution, and second, how to convert to normal.